Dude, you've got to get your shit together. Okay? You're flailing. I've never even seen you like this before.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't good. It's like you're manic. It's like I don't know what's going on with you. Like all that shit that went down with Booth. Well, what can I do to help?
Oh my God. No. No. I'm fine. I'm really good, actually. And sometimes being really good all the time feels really bad.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We're just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And boy, do we have an episode today. What a crappy episode of this show.
Dude, it started out so well.
Yeah, it started out interesting, and I was like, okay. And then about 5 minutes in, I was like, where is this going? What's happening? This is awful. And then the rest of the episode was like, this is all awful.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But anyway, today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 9. Overall, it's Episode 19, titled On All Fours. Written by Lena Dunham and Jenny Connor, directed by Lena Dunham. Original air date, March 10th, 2013. 677,000 viewers, 0.677 million viewers. I told Vance right after we were done watching this, I don't really talk out loud while watching something. Like, I don't really react. But this episode had me going, what? Why? No! And just audibly groaning.
Yeah, there was definitely a moment where I was like, no.
It was painful to watch this episode. It was just painful.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that, I mean, God.
Yeah, it's, I think, let's just dive into this. Let's just do it.
How are we going to tackle this?
I say let's do...
I feel like Hannah should go first, because like hers is the one that's like least...
Let's go Hannah and then tie it in when it gets tied in. But then I think we should start Marnie. I think we should go from Hannah then to Marnie, because Marnie's full.
Hold up. I think that we should go Shoshanna first, because hers doesn't really interact with much. I don't know how to do this one, dude.
This is how we're gonna do this one. I'm gonna say this. We're gonna go Hannah, cut her off, then go Marnie.
Yeah.
Quick dive into Shoshanna, and then
our boy Adam.
Adam, and how about that? So
that's a deal, man. I mean, this fucking episode.
All right, so you want to take the reins? I don't even want to talk about this one.
Yeah. Like, neither of us are excited to do this podcast at all right now.
Oh man.
Okay. So Hannah, we first see Hannah. She's in an elevator. She's going to go meet with her book deal guy, and in the elevator, she's pulling out a wedgie 8 times because that's her OCD shit.
Yeah.
She gets out, goes to meet the guy, and he's like, "Hey, so good to see you. It's been so long. It's been like 2 weeks." And then she's like, "All right, cool. What did you think about my pages that I sent you?" And he's like, "I didn't read them. Not because I didn't have time. It's just I didn't feel like reading them anymore."
Yeah. And somehow he's still committed to having her write.
Yeah. He was basically like, "This is terrible. I don't want to read it. This isn't what I was looking for. But keep going."
Yeah. Like, why hasn't he pulled the plug? Oh, there was a moment where he asked the guy that lets her into the room, "Have you been working out?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Stop it."
Yeah. What?
Wait, he's just
like, what was that supposed to be?
He's just a weirdo, man. Just a weirdo.
I don't know, dude. So yeah, he's going over her pages of her book that he has, and he's like, "There's not enough sexual failure. Like, I want to hear about your sexual escapades and how they're awkward and weird and funny." He's like, "What you're writing is like friendship and like depression." And he's like, "That's not what I wanted." And then she's like, "Well, I had sex with a teenager last week." And he's like, "Write about that."
She's like, "I think it might be illegal."
Dude, wasn't he 19?
I don't know what he was.
I
think he was definitely past 18. Well,
Yeah,
maybe not. Were they in high school or college?
I don't fucking know,
care.
dude.
I don't care. Maybe
this podcast is about to be like 15 minutes long where we're just like, I don't fucking know. Who cares?
Maybe it's a metaphor for the show where he's like, let's start with the depression and get back to like the Sex and the City hijinks.
Yeah.
Like, let's get you hooking up with people for fun and laughs.
And Hannah's like, hey, so I actually have a bunch of other pages that I didn't send you because I didn't think they were that great. Do you want me to send those? And it's like, yeah, you can, but I'm not going to read those either. It's like, what?
It's like, why is this guy working with her?
I know, this guy, like, obviously hates her work.
Yeah.
Man. But she, like, talking about this, didn't she write a book where that's kind of where she confessed to, like, doing some sexually inappropriate stuff with her cousin?
You mean in real life?
Yeah, in real life, Lena Dunham did that.
Yeah, I feel like she did. We still haven't dove into the Lena Dunham real life stuff.
Yeah.
I
don't
haven't
know
done
much
any
about
research yet. Yeah.
I've only heard things and, like, read the headlines of articles, so I don't know exactly what it was, but
yeah.
From what I gather, it was something like she used to, like, inappropriately touch her cousin while they were sleeping over at her place. I could be wrong. I could be making that up. Again, I haven't gone too in depth with it.
Well, that's why that episode where she's talking to Patrick Wilson's character, Joshua, and she's talking about masturbating. Or like not masturbate, or like saying that the babysitter touched her or something. You know, it's like one of those things where you're like, oof, too real close to.
Yeah, is this real? Or is this Lena Dunham talking, or is this Hannah, or what's going on here? Yeah. So the guy, the book guy's not happy with her work, and it's evident that her anxiety and OCD is like taking a toll on her because she can't write as well, and her creativity is like out the window, I guess. So yeah, the next time we see Hannah, she's like in her apartment. She's trying to write. She's scooting her butt across the floor.
And she's just in underwear, right? Like she's just in like.
She has like a long t-shirt and underwear.
Yeah.
And she's scooting across the floor to get olives, and then she starts eating olives, which is gross.
Is it gross because of olives or gross because of her eating them?
Both. Both. Also, her fashion in this the dress that she was wearing at the guy's the book guy was all right. I could get behind that.
Yeah, it was
it was all right. But this fucking t-shirt underwear combination is just atrocious. And we get to see how atrocious it is because she scoots across the floor to get a pillow and gets like a splinter in her ass.
Yeah, like why was she scooting across the floor like that, bare bottom? Like that just doesn't make sense.
Recipe for disaster.
You know, I've gotten a splinter like in my upper thigh through my jeans.
Really?
At this place, Game House in Glendale.
Hey,
I was sliding out of the seating area, you know, just like, you know, those tables with the wooden bench. So I'm sliding out, and it just like something just stabbed me, and I like couldn't like, and I was leaving, but I couldn't like really get in, so I kind of drove home just so I could get in front of a mirror to like, I didn't want to like half pull something out and it like break, but it was just like this really long piece of splintered wood.
How long was it in your thigh for before you got home?
Oh, no, I just drove straight home from there. So I went to Los Feliz, so it wasn't like...
Okay. So you got it while you were about to leave?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like I got it, stayed there. It was like,
yeah, that's what I was like, leave. Oh my God, Vance, you're a trooper, dude.
Yeah. But no, I wasn't sliding around bare butt.
Yeah. So that's what Hannah was doing because she's a smart person. Sliding around bare butt, she goes to her bathroom, she picks the splinter out, she gets it all healed up, puts some alcohol on a bandage, and then she gets a Q-tip out, starts Q-tip in her ear, and as soon as I saw her doing this, I was like, they would not show this if it wasn't about to be terrible.
I was like, this is the body horror episode. I thought it was just going to go downhill. I thought we were going to have like a Saw movie, like torture scene. It was going to be the Q-tip, and then it was going to be like oh, I need to put eye drops in or like contact lenses, and it rolls in the back of her eye. Like, I thought it was just going to be a nightmare scenario for everything.
You know how they say that The Office is like cringe humor?
Yes.
This show is like cringe life. Like, it's not humorous. Like, there's just so much cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this episode. Because I saw her get a splinter in her butt. I cringed. Saw her digging in her ear with the Q-tip. Cringed.
Mm-hmm.
And then so she hears something pop, which we all knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
She was digging too deep and I guess like punctured her eardrum or something. And she calls her parents. She's like, Mom, Dad, I think I did a Q-tip too deep. And they're like, go to the hospital. She goes to the hospital. The fucking doctor starts trashing her. It's hilarious.
That scene was so long.
Yeah.
It was so long.
That guy had like no nonsense. He was like, what are you doing? You're stupid. Why are you doing this?
He reminded me of the doctor in like the second episode or the third episode of the show when she goes to get that HPV test, the STD test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the doctors in this...
That doctor, she's like talking about AIDS and all this stuff, and the doctors are just like, no.
Yeah. The doctors in this are just like, no nonsense, shut the fuck up. Which, in my experience, I don't find doctors to be like that. They're a lot more soothing.
Yeah. But I feel like it depends on what they're dealing with.
I guess. Yeah, I've never come in with like a stupid... You know what? One time I got STD tested in New York, right? Because I got the flu twice in 1 year. And so I was like, I have HIV. That's it. And I was panicking. I was like 22 or 23. And I was so panicked. So I went to... There was no place that was open around me. So I had to look up like free STD testing. So I lived in Astoria. And I went to like the Lower East Side to a place called the Gay Men's Health Crisis. That was the only place that was open. And I went there. The guy was like, okay.
Sure, that was the only place you could find, right?
I mean, at the time.
That was the only place in that big city.
So I went there, and I was like nervous as hell. And I get to the doctor, and the doctor's just kind of like, all right, so can you tell me about yourself? It's like, what makes you think that? And I was like, well, I've gotten the flu twice in 1 year, so I'm a little worried. And he's like, okay, that is a little peculiar. Tell me something. Are you a homosexual? And I said, no. And he goes, okay. Have you been having unprotected sex? And I was like, yes. He's like, have you had anal sex? And I was like, not recently. And he's like, have you been doing any drugs with needles? And I was like, no. And then he just like puts his clipboard down and he goes, you know what? You're fine. Don't even worry about this. We'll do the test, but I'm telling you, you don't have HIV.
Yeah.
I guess that's as close to like a matter-of-fact doctor as I've gotten. But all the other ones that I've had where I'm like, hey, I'm worried about something. They're like, hey, you know, it's probably something else, but we'll do the test anyway. Yeah. No one's ever like, what the fuck were you doing digging this shit in your ear?
True. They were... Was that the doctor or was that like the nurse? Was he a nurse or was he the doctor?
I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, they were both wearing scrubs. I was just assuming it was a doctor. Yeah. So anyway, he's digging the Q-tip out and he's like making fun of her. And she's crying and being like, I'm just so stressed. It's so crazy. And then she's like, can you please like wash out the ear? And he's like, no.
And then she asked to keep the Q-tip.
Yeah.
For some reason. And it was super weird. And I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. She's like, can I keep the Q-tip? And he gives it to her. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Frame it. Whatever. I don't care. And I feel like this is kind of where we should hop off of Hannah's story.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Let's transition into Marnie.
Fuck.
And I'll say this. When we first see Marnie, they're in the apartment.
Yep.
And
they're in the Shoshanna Ray Marnie apartment,
which seems like it has a living room now, or something. Dude,
I wish we could get a floor plan of these apartments.
I want to see them walk from room to room. Like we never see it all. So I was like, oh, there's the kitchen, there's the living room. Where are the bedrooms, and why does she keep walking into it in other scenes?
Yeah. Where's the kitchen? Where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
None of it makes sense.
No. So yeah, she's she's singing, and then she asks Ray about, hey, do you know GarageBand? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, will you help me lay down this track? And he's like, no.
Yeah, dude, it was so douchey that she said lay down this track. That was the part that I was like, ooh.
I mean, all of what she's doing is just so bad.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, so Shoshanna kind of convinces him to go help her out.
And Ray has been in a band, so he probably does know how to fiddle with GarageBand.
Yeah, exactly. But they never get. So, do they make that track? Is that what happens later, or is it something different?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would assume that if Ray knew what was going to happen later on, he would not have helped her at all.
Oh, well, she does this before she even knows about the party, so it wasn't for that.
Oh, okay. So I think that probably was an original track that she was working on.
Okay.
Or she was trying to do something different than what she did later.
Yeah. So what happens next? Is the next time we see her?
The next time we see her, she's banging on Charlie's window at his work.
Yeah, he's outside on the patio.
This is my first audible moan.
Yeah,
I wrote it down. I saw Charlie, and I saw her banging on the window, and then Charlie looked back, and she looks like, what the fuck? That's when I first time in this episode went, oh, God.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, why is this happening?
Yeah, so we find out why it is happening, and it's because Charlie and Marnie made lunch plans, and Charlie stood her up.
Yeah, and I was like, good for Charlie.
Exactly!
I thought it was a power move that he was pulling.
But unfortunately, it was not a power move because Charlie has no power at all. He was just busy at work and forgot, and Marnie's like, well, what the fuck? Like, you should totally, like, I can't believe you just forgot about me. It's like, dude, take a hint.
Yeah, and I mean, it is one thing to just fully stand someone up for lunch, but I'm surprised he even agreed to meet her for lunch.
Yeah, dude, it's because he has no spine.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
He is I've been saying for a while, like, he's awful, but, like, he just, I can't put up with that spinelessness. He's
we
so
used to love Charlie.
I felt bad for Charlie. Like, you know what Charlie is? He's like Rick and Morty. He's like the dad in Rick and Morty, where he's just so pathetic that you like feel bad for him the whole time, but he's also the worst.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Dude, that is a great analogy. Yeah. Like, you want to feel bad for him, but he just keeps doing stupid shit that you're like, I can't feel bad for you.
Yeah, like, if you're going to put yourself in this situation, I don't care what happens to you.
Yeah, man. So he stands her up. She's upset about it. She's like, well, what the fuck? Like, that's not cool that you stood me up. And he's like, well, guess what? We hit this, like, big sales goal at my job now, and we're having a party tonight to celebrate. And you know what? You should come. And this is my second audible moan.
Yeah, I was like, why are you inviting her to the party tonight? Something weird is going to happen.
Yes, dude. Yes. This is the second time when he was like, there's a party tonight and you should come, I went, why?
Yeah. I get for the show's purpose why they want this happening, but for his reasoning, I have no concept.
I literally,
as a character,
in my notes, I wrote down in all caps, why with an interrobang?
And to explain what an interrobang is for everyone.
It's a question mark and an exclamation point. I have written, Charlie invites Marnie to his work party, all caps, why interrobang?
And how fitting for what happens later.
Yeah.
So they show up at the party, and I think here, let's just dive into a little bit of Shoshanna, because then it'll just kind of...
Well, hang on a second. Right? I need to say something. I need to give a shout out about this show. So at the party, we're scoping around. We're seeing all the attendees at the party, and who do I see? I see my good friend, hilarious comedian, my buddy Dave Neal is at this party as like a featured extra.
Is he the one talking to Shoshanna?
No. He, like, when they pan around the party, he's talking to, like, 2 other people. And I was like, is that fucking Dave Neal? And I rewound it, and I was like, it is Dave Neal. That guy's hilarious. Everybody should go check out Dave Neal. He has a great podcast, too, called The Sap, which is awesome. But I just wanted to give that shout out because I was like, what the fuck? Is that Dave?
Okay, so, and Dave wasn't the girl randomly crying on the phone when they panned across? When they panned across the party? Like, what was that?
I have no idea, dude.
I was like, oh man, so much crying in this episode.
But anyway, we can hop off into Shoshanna now.
Well, we'll go to Shoshanna just because it ties, just so we can have the party be one thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in the beginning when we see Shoshanna and Ray, they're like he's sitting on the couch like fully in a robe, and he's like,
that robe is terrible.
He's like, and then Shoshanna was rambling on about like, oh, I got this, tea equals stevia, sugar. Like, I thought Ray was sick or something and had a cold and she was taking care of him, but it just seemed like she was being overly nice, and she's obviously overly compensating for hooking up with the doorman.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Jeez, did you hear that fucking like airplane?
Was that on your end, or are you talking about my end?
Was that on your end? There's like a fucking race car going.
Yeah, I had a car like going by. I think. Yeah.
Dude, what's crazy is we don't live
close enough to hear.
Yeah, like that car has to be so loud. Like I'm on the 3rd floor, you're on the 2nd floor.
Yeah. And I'm on the 3rd floor.
Holy shit. Oh, you're on the dude, how the fuck loud was that car? Sorry for an aside, everybody. But
so for everyone listening, we are recording this one remotely.
Yeah, we're recording it remotely. Vance is at his apartment. I'm at my apartment. Yeah. And that was loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry for an aside, everybody. I just had to call attention to that and be like, what the fuck?
Hopefully we clean it out in the edit. And no one can hear it.
Then like, no one will know what we're talking about right now.
These insane people.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Shoshanna, she's just overcompensating, trying to be super nice, but also super weird to Ray.
She's being super weird, but you can tell she's feeling like real guilty about what happened with her and the doorman.
Yeah. And then I think the next time we see them is at the party, right?
Yeah.
And they go into the party, and Ray's being kind of a jealous jerk to Charlie a bit. Like, just kind of being, kind
of being like he's being the guy that would be like, you've changed, man.
Yeah, he's being all sarcastic and like, oh, I'm going to get another shitty beer. Beer? Or any of these girls prostitutes, you know? Like, just...
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
When he was like, are any of these girls prostitutes? Like,
especially to do that in front of Shoshanna, too. Like,
yeah.
Like, weird. And then he leaves to go get a shitty beer, quote-unquote shitty beer. And Shoshanna's talking to Charlie. Before that, she goes, congratulations on the MUAs or whatever. Like, because the party's for the... what is it? Most active users, MAUs. Yeah. And she's like the Mauis. But then she goes on a rant like, "Oh my God, you look so good. You could sleep with any girl here. You could even sleep with me."
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was just like, "What, Shoshanna?"
Yeah, I was like, "What's about to happen here?"
I was like, "That wasn't a part of my prediction."
Yeah.
Never predicted this. Yeah. So then Ray's hanging out with Marnie, and he's looking at Shoshanna, and she's talking to some guy who's talking about how much he loves restaurants.
Yeah.
It's just like...
And Ray's like talking to Marnie, being like, look at my girlfriend throwing herself at Bazooka Joe over here.
Yeah.
I was like,
when he says things like Bazooka Joe, you're like, I don't think you and Shoshanna should be together.
Yeah. Bazooka Joe.
Like, what a reference. Yeah. That's gum, right? Wasn't that like some really bad bubble gum?
Yeah, I think it was
like really hard.
Yeah, I think Bazooka Joe was also like a comic strip in the newspapers.
Because I think the gum had a comic strip.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, but
it's such an old reference.
Yeah, it was very odd.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't call anyone Bazooka Joe unless they were like military looking.
Yeah, he was just in a generic plaid shirt.
Yeah, I don't
jeans.
understand why he called him Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, but Shoshanna's acting weird.
Also, her hair is awful. She's got like a weird bun on the side of her head. Looks so stupid.
Do you like it better than the side pony?
No, I enjoy the side pony much more than the side donut on her head. Looks fucking real dumb, dude.
Yeah.
Her hair choices are bad. She's got all right fashion. Her hair choices questionable.
Joe's fashion corner. All right, so let's get into the real crux of this.
The real meat of this, where the audible moans just kept coming and coming and coming.
How does it start? How does she get started with this? Does she tell Ray that she's going to do it?
She's talking to Ray, and she's like, hey, have you seen Charlie? And he's like, oh, he's probably somewhere around here. And she's like, okay, because I have kind of like a special surprise planned for him. And this is where Ray's like blowing her off and kind of being like, look at Bazooka Joe over there. Yeah. And then he just kind of walks away. So she walks over to where the DJ is. And the DJ is like pumping up the jams. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, I have something that I would like to play really quick. Do you mind switching this out? And the guy's like, yeah, sure. Which no DJ would ever do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So he takes out his iPod, which is just on like a mixing thing where there's speakers, puts in her shit, and then she goes and she gives a speech before this happens. She's like, hey, what's up? I'm Marnie. I'm an old friend of Charlie's. And then you see Charlie, and Charlie's kind of like, what the fuck's going on here? And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And she's like, I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody on your MAUs. And like, this is so cool. 20,000. That's so huge.
She said your premature success.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Dude. So then she's like, well, I have something special planned for you guys that I wanted to do. And so here it is. DJ, press play. And I was moaning at this point.
I was like, don't do this. Don't do it. And Charlie's face is that way. Yep. Ray is kind of like, don't do it.
See, right here is when I was like, Charlie, this is the appropriate reaction. This is going to be the end of Charlie and Marnie.
Yep.
And when she says press play, at this point, I was like, okay, she's going to sing her original song that she wrote with Ray. But alas, I was incorrect. Mm-hmm. She does not sing an original song. She sings a piano ballad version of Stronger by Kanye West.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just, it's not the place for this. It's not the place. You don't know these people. They don't know you. Everyone's just confused. You're not like a famous singer trying to do like a...
She's not even like a singer that's on the verge of anything.
Yeah.
This is her first time singing in public as like, I'm a singer. I wrote down, Marnie sings at Charlie's party. I groaned. My mouth is wide open. Because I was just in disbelief. And she's singing the fucking, like, she's singing the cuss words that are in it. Mm-hmm. She's singing, like, you're going to be the secretary that fucks me or some shit. I forget what the words are.
Yeah. I was just engaged in all the reaction shots of everybody. And then when Charlie's like, oh, she's still going. Like,
yeah.
She does.
Charlie is horrendously embarrassed. Ray walks up to Shoshanna and he puts his arm around her, and Shoshanna just walks off, which I was like, oh boy, this is not good. So Marnie finishes singing her song. There's no applause. And she's just like...
Well, Ray goes, yeah, woo! And you hear like the scatterers. It's just like
there's like a smattering of golf claps.
Yeah.
And Marnie's like, there you go, everybody. Congratulations. It wasn't even the whole song. It was like a minute and a half of this song.
Which is still too long.
Yeah, it was way too long still. But my God, was that terrible. Like, that was awful to watch.
Yeah. Okay. And let's just talk about what happens next because then I can. Yeah.
Well, so
let's go with Ray. Let's go with Ray and Shoshanna, and then.
Well, I wanted to say, like, comedians and stuff, right? Like, when you see a comedian bombing, it's like...
I've let you bomb on this podcast plenty of times.
I've bombed quite a bit. But, like, when you see a comic bombing, you feel the uncomfortableness that they're obviously feeling, unless you're, like, a psychopath. I felt that, like, just pain of awkwardness while watching this.
Yeah.
And this is, like, a scripted show... And these people aren't actually doing this. But I was like, God, this is so... I felt sick to my stomach, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of... Yeah. Definitely. The embarrassment level is just very high.
Yeah.
And like...
So, yeah. Dude.
Allison Williams has to sing now. Like, she's had to sing, like, randomly in the last 2 episodes.
And you know what? She's not a bad singer.
Not a bad singer.
But
not a bad singer at all.
This was not the time or place.
No.
And she needs to realize that. But so anyway, sorry to cut you off. We're going to Ray and Shoshanna now?
Yeah.
All right.
He goes up to her. He's like, hey, what's going on? You're acting like an alien is taking over Shoshanna's body or something like that.
Yeah.
And
he basically calls her out for like being squirrely and acting weird.
Yeah. And then she says, I did something. And then she mentions that she held the doorman's hand.
Yeah. She goes, I did something bad.
Yeah.
And then Ray's like, what? And she goes, I held the doorman's hand. I was like, bitch, you did more than hold the doorman's hand.
And his reaction was like, oh, you silly, whatever. You still want to be with me? And she's like nodding, yeah, or something. And then,
yeah. He goes over a list of reasons. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you done with me? Like, are you sick of me? Because like, if you are, let me know. Like, am I too tall? Am I too old? Like, what's going on? And she's like, no, I did a bad thing. I held the doorman's hand, and he's like, that's nothing. Like, that's fine. It's cool. He basically like he forgives her, and he thinks that like she's feeling guilty just for holding a hand when more shit was going on.
I wasn't sure if holding the hand was like a code word for like, oh, I hooked up with someone else. Like,
I think it was that she was.
Did he think that she literally held someone's hand and was acting weird? Does he think she's that naive?
I think it was more that she didn't want to confess the whole thing.
Oh no, so I know she doesn't. But like, is Ray that naive to think, oh, that she's that naive to think that she acted that weird from holding a guy's hand? And what doorman? He didn't even ask what doorman. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like Ray is like, whatever, we can have an open relationship, or if he's a cuck or something.
Yeah, I just wasn't really sure what they were going for in that moment.
Yeah, because if he is understanding what she actually did, then he's a cuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's fine, you can cheat on me, whatever.
Yeah.
Or if he thinks that she's like, if he actually believes that she was literally just holding a doorman's hand, and he's like, that's nothing, like, stop being so silly. I don't know what he thinks or what is known, because that was such a weird confession.
Yeah.
But he's like, don't worry, like, do you still want to be with me? And he hugs her, and she's like, yeah, but you can tell in her eyes that she does not want to be with him anymore.
She does not, yeah.
She looks kind of like, I thought that me saying that I was going to that I held the doorman's hand was going to get you all pissed off and dump me. Mm-hmm. But she's not happy. And you can tell because the whole party, she's like flirting with Charlie. She's flirting with other dudes.
I mean, she said Charlie could sleep with her, and then was like, oh no, I can't believe I said that, which is so weird. To say that to Charlie in general, who is a person who's hooked up with Marnie, who dated Marnie and is the close friend, I won't even say best friend, but close friend to your current boyfriend. Such a weird thing.
They were bandmates.
Yeah.
But that wraps up Shoshanna, basically.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes in the finale, if they're even in it.
Yeah. Hopping back to...
No, we haven't seen Jessa in like
Thank
2
God.
episodes.
I feel like Jessa's been replaced.
Like, by what do you mean replaced?
With Adam. Adam now has his own like girls arcs.
Oh yeah, but it's we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
All right, so quickly, Marnie and
hopping back to Marnie and Charlie.
Marnie and Charlie, they go into his office. He kind of drags her back to his office.
Yeah, he kind of is like, I was like, this is great. He's going to give her the talking to of like, what are you doing here? Stop fucking showing up. Like, we're not cool. This is awful. I don't want to see you again.
He started to do that.
And I was like, yes, yeah. Charlie, yes. He was like, I have it written down. He's like, Charlie tells Marnie that she needs to get her shit together and she's flailing, which is something that I said on the podcast.
You did say that. You did say she was flailing. And when did you, what was that?
I said that like 8 episodes ago.
Yeah, you said it at some point.
I think I said that when she like made out with Bobby Moynihan.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But when he was like, you're flailing, you need to get your shit together, which is a great contrast from last episode when Marnie was like, I have my shit together. Like, I'm the one that's like a cool person and Charlie's a loser. Why is he rich now?
Well, she's been claiming that she's got her stuff together, but she doesn't, obviously. Yeah.
So Marnie is like, what are you talking about? I don't need to get my shit together. I'm doing great. I'm fine. And he's like, no, you're not. Like, do you need something from me? Like, do you need help? Because I could try to help you. Because you need help. And she's like, don't condescend me. It feels awful that you're condescending me.
Yeah, she seemed like she had no concept of what she, like, no self-awareness. Like, she went in, like, did I do something embarrassing? And like,
yeah, was it that bad? It wasn't that bad.
It's like,
fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they just start smooching. It's like, that's where I out loud went, no, what?
I was just like, come on, really? So the point I was going to say earlier is that somehow Marnie's plan worked.
I guess so.
Singing at this party got him.
Dude,
it somehow worked.
Dude, fuck this show. This like on again, off again. Like, you know how like Jim and Pam on The Office, it was like an on again, off again, but you're like, I want it to happen. Let's do this. Come on.
Yeah.
This one is the complete opposite. It's an on again, off again, but I don't want it to happen. I don't like either of these people anymore.
No, and the way that they end up hooking up, it seems like all right, I guess we're gonna do it. It's never like, oh wow, they really had a moment and bonded, and then you're like, okay, I can kind of get behind this.
Yeah, they weren't like, Charlie wasn't like, wow, that song was really special. That was incredible. Thank you. Yeah. Like, after that performance, I now see that, like, you're getting your shit together and you're talented. He was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
All right, let's just fuck. Who cares?
Yeah. Now you're going to be walking around the office with the girl that sang. They don't know her from anything else
right?
except for that. Like, you don't want that in your life.
Right, dude? When she was like, are they going to see us? I was like, I hope they do, and Charlie gets ousted or something, because, like, that's so gross.
Yeah, he was like, who gives a fuck if they see us? And I was like, really, man? Like they saw you walk in there with her.
This is Charlie getting what he wanted, because Charlie wanted to fuck her at the wedding in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Marnie is getting what she wants because she wants her hooks into Charlie because she's a fucking social climber, gold digging asshole now.
Yeah.
She saw that Charlie started getting shit that's awesome, and she's like, well, I gotta show back up around and start fucking up his life again. Fuck her, dude.
I know. And that's and good point. That segues us into Adam's story because
hold on.
That's what they do. They show up and the girls show up and things just start getting worse.
Dude, fuck her for doing that to Charlie, and fuck Charlie for being such a spineless worm, dude.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself and tell this good-for-nothing piece of garbage hit the bricks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you can still have some feelings for Marnie because you dated her for so long, but she has been so dirty and mean to you.
Dude, it's so toxic.
Nice. Yeah.
It's so toxic. It's not good for either of them.
Yeah.
Charlie's going to get fucking ousted. He's going to get fucking... I hated this shit. I hated that.
Yeah, and I just don't... Yeah, I don't know why he would... Yeah, it's one of those things.
I mean, Shoshanna just said he could hook up with any of the women at the party.
Including her.
Including her.
And
Fuck her.
And he chooses the worst one.
He chooses the worst one.
He's not even that drunk either. It's not even like a drunken hookup. It's full consciousness.
It was so awful. Hook up with the fucking lady with the glasses that he was talking to on the patio.
Anybody,
dude. Dude, hook up with Dave Neal, my good friend, the host of the SAP podcast.
I'd be all for a Charlie is gay storyline.
I'd be good for anything but this. This sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks, dude.
All right.
Getting upset.
Let's
and then this also sucks. This next shit.
Yeah. You want to take the lead on this?
Yeah, so we're talking about Adam now. So Adam and Natalia, seems like things are going good. They saw a movie. He's like kind of lightly trashing it like a guy does. And Natalia's like, oh, no, it's fine. I know that you liked it. And he's like, whatever. You know, kind of like how when a guy kind of trashes a rom-com, but he sees the merit of the rom-com and you can see like, oh, that was pretty clever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So he's doing that. And they're at Natalia's apartment, I'm guessing, because it seems nicer and not as fucking wood choppy. Yeah. Which we'll get to later on.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're bantering, they're having a good time, and then Natalia sits on her bed and just out of nowhere she goes, I'm ready to have sex now. Which I thought was very bizarre. And Adam did too.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anybody do that?
Not that way, no.
Yeah, not that direct.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how many dates they had been on at this point or what they had talked about beforehand, you know? Like, I'm not sure how much time has passed between the last episode.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if they've been, like, holding off, and then she was like, oh, I'm ready, you know?
Well, she mentions, she was like, you've been sweet and awesome all week.
Oh, okay. So it's been a week.
So it's been at least a week.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'm ready to have sex now. And Adam's like, all right, cool. And she's like, unless you don't want to. And he's like, no, I want to. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable. And she's like, yeah. And you can just tell the evil within Adam is like trying to burst out. And he's trying to hold it back so much because this girl's super hot and like has her shit together.
I wouldn't even call it his evil. I would call it his weirdness in general right here.
Let's
here's the thing.
Have a compromise.
We've only seen him have sex with
Hannah. Let's have a compromise and not call it evil or weirdness. Let's call it his Adamness.
His Adamness, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can tell he's fighting to hold back his inner Adam.
Yeah.
And be like a quote unquote normal person or what he perceives to be a normal person.
Yeah.
So he gets on top and they're like, okay, let's have sex. And then another fucking thing that drives me
your favorite
up a fucking wall about this
I thought about
goddamn show.
This. I was like, you're gonna love this.
They start making out and then Natalia starts rambling about starts talking. She's like, hey, I'm on the pill. I hate being on top. But everything else is pretty much cool. But don't come inside me just to be safe. But everything else is cool. And Adam's like, all right, cool. I like how upfront about your rules you are with me.
Yeah.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, at that point I was like, great. Like you have, the first time with someone is always weird. It's always like you don't know what's happening exactly, like what they like, what how it's gonna, so it's always just filling everything out. And she just kind of laid down the groundwork and you're like, oh great. All right.
Yeah, that's very nice. And ladies, if you're listening and you're thinking about is that a cool thing to do, that is a pretty fucking cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Let everybody know what the deal is, what your rules are, where you're cool, and
what doesn't work. Like she said, she didn't like light touching because it sometimes tickles and takes her out of it, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't start drawing S's down her back, with your finger or something,
Yeah, that was like, you don't need to be as abrasive as she was about it.
I didn't mind. I didn't think she was abrasive. I felt like for your thing about like talking during this, I thought this was the best use of it. It wasn't just, at least she was talking about what they were doing and not just like,
this is the most.
She wasn't talking about the movie. She wasn't like, oh yeah, in the movie, I just want this a little more. And when he did, like, it wasn't that.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you. It was the most forgivable of all of the instances where people talk during hooking up in this show, because it was about the subject and the matter at hand.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise, like when Hannah does it, when they were hooking up in the graveyard, she's like, "When I was in a graveyard when I was a kid, I had this one dream about something." I was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
But anyway, so they're banging, and it's dope, and I'm happy for Adam at this point. But you can tell
you're seeming like it seems like things are gonna. Yeah, well, it's girls, so it's not.
Yeah, So afterwards, they're like at a bodega, and she's talking to Adam about like, hey, my friend's having a party, an engagement party, and it's gonna be super cool. And then Adam's like, is this a thing that guys are allowed to come to? And she's like, well, a lot of people are bringing their boyfriends. And he's like, well, I'm your boyfriend. And she's like, yes, you are. So if you want to come, you're invited. And I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like he was in a real relationship, and he seemed like he was actually putting in the effort. And last episode we saw him, he was all about her. So
yeah. It seems like things were going good for Adam and Natalia.
Yeah. And I thought he wouldn't even want to go to the party, because it's an Adam thing. Like, Adam doesn't go to parties.
Well, you can tell that Adam is trying to suppress his Adam.
Yeah.
He's trying to be what he thinks is a normal person. The normal people do the shit that he's doing now, you know? So they go to the party, and fucking Amy Schumer's there. Gross.
What?
I don't like Amy Schumer, dude.
Okay.
Did I tell you about... Do you know about my Amy Schumer story?
No, but I guess you're going to have to say now.
So when I was in college, I was watching Comedy Central, and her stand-up special came on. And I tweeted something, I think it was Amy Schumer's Comedy Central special came on. I watched 5 minutes of it and turned off the TV and walked out of the room in disgust. And like the next day, I got a Facebook message from Amy Schumer. And Amy Schumer said, this is when I was first getting into doing comedy. I was like 21 or something.
And you were like, let's just start burning bridges right away.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like her. I still don't like her. I don't like her. I don't think she's funny. So the next day, Amy Schumer Facebook messaged me, and she says, hey, I'm doing shows in DC in a couple months. Would you want to open for me? And I said, no. And she said, why? And I said, how did you even get to know who I am? I'm guessing you saw my tweet about your stand-up special. And she said, no, what tweet? What are you talking about? I just asked around in DC who I should have open for me, and they said you. And at this point, I was 4 years into doing comedy, maybe like 3.5 doing stand-up, and nobody in DC respected me or liked me. So I knew that was a lie.
Yeah.
So I went, if you asked around about me on who you want to open, there's no way. Well, dude, it wasn't that I was... It wasn't like, I'm bragging.
You're like, no one liked me, and I knew that. So,
well, yeah, exactly, dude. I wasn't going to fall for the trap because I knew it was a trap.
Okay.
It's not like I tweeted a thing about her sucking, and then the next day, she's like, hey, do you want to open for me? Like, it was so obvious.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you asked anybody in DC who should open for you, no one would have said me. So I know that you're lying.
Yeah.
And then she blocked me on Facebook, then retweeted my tweet, and said, sorry that I'm not funny enough for you or whatever. And then a bunch of her fans started tweeting at me and then went to my YouTube video of me doing stand-up and downvoting it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, she got downvoted on Netflix, and that's why we don't have thumbs up. And that's why we only have thumbs up and thumbs down and not real ratings anymore.
Yep. So that is basically my Amy Schumer story. Happened about 10 years ago. 8 to 10 years ago.
So if you would have said, yeah, I'll open for you, she would have just canceled last minute, you think?
I don't know what would have happened if I would have said yes, but I knew that it wasn't, like, it was a setup. I knew that it was a setup. I wonder
what the payoff is, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would have been intrigued to say yes, to see what the plan was. Going into it knowing that there's a setup, I would have been like, yes, but you did see that I tweeted this, right? And like, see if she wants to.
There's no fucking way. Like, I hadn't. I've been doing stand-up. Did she even have
a show in DC? Did you notice if she had a show in DC at that time? Was that a real thing?
I'm not sure. As soon as she asked me if I wanted to open for her, I said no because I knew it was a setup.
Okay.
Because I was like, there's no way. And then she was like, the thing that sealed the deal was, she was like, I asked around and people said that you should open for me. And I was like, no one would fucking ever do that. Like, I had only been doing stand-up for like 3-4 years at that point, and it was mainly on my college's campus, and the people in DC, like when I was going to open mics in DC, I was just eating shit pretty much. I had like a couple good shows, but no one, like, and she was like kind of a bigger act at the time. She was doing like the Improv at Arlington Cinema Draft House, which is a pretty big venue in DC. Mm-hmm. And I forget where the show, I think it was at Arlington Cinema Draft House. So she did, you're right. She did have a show coming up. Yeah. I did look it up.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way that any of those people, number one, most of the people that booked those shows would book themselves. Like, because a lot of the people that booked the shows were comics too.
Yeah.
So no one would have done that.
I would have said, yeah, but also, I did this tweet. So what is this really about? I would have played, I would have seen. Because what would have been the downside? I don't know what the downside would have been.
What's the upside?
That
you actually open for her and then she trashes you in public?
Yeah. I mean, she trashes you in public on she trashes you in public with the tweet and the retweet. So it's not.
Yeah, but who gives a fuck about that?
Who cares about whoever was at that show? It would have been that's a smaller crowd than the online crowd.
I'm happy that I stood my ground and didn't sell out to be like, yeah, I'll open for Amy Schumer. Okay. I'm happy that I was just like, no. I saw right through it.
Okay.
But anyway, she's at this party.
Yeah.
She's the friend that's getting engaged. And
it had a lot of vibes of the Jenny Slate character. She was not really the Jenny Slate character who sold the book that Hannah and how they had that passive aggressiveness. There was a lot of that happening with Natalia and Amy Schumer's character.
Oh, you thought so? I didn't even pick up on that.
When she was like, oh yeah, maybe she'll blow your cousin. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Hey, he looks like what did she say Adam looks like?
She looks like an old-timey robber or criminal or something.
Yeah, she was completely just throwing shade at her.
Yeah, she was. I wrote down that she was throwing shade at Adam, but I didn't pick up on the Amy Schumer thing and Natalia.
Oh yeah, no,
but
it was they should not have been real friends. But yeah,
no.
So and there's a moment when they walk away, and this guy comes up to Adam, and he's like, "Can you believe we're missing the game for this?"
Yeah, and Adam's like, "Oh yeah, fuck."
Adam trying to be a human.
Yeah, Adam just he doesn't care about the game. He doesn't even know what game. No. I think that was the perfect moment to describe the situation that Adam has been in with dating Natalia, of trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
When that guy's like, fuck, we're missing the game. Can you believe it? And he's like, oh, yeah, fuck. Yeah. What a great tiny moment.
Yep.
So the next time we see Adam, he's walking outside to get some air because it doesn't seem like he's really having that great of a time at this party. Because Natalia's kind of like, do you mind if I drink? And he's like, no, go for it. But you can tell it's kind of weird for him. He's barely keeping it together, it seems like. Yeah. This isn't his scene.
He can't do parties. He did go to a big party and was dancing the first time he met all the girls. And everyone was drinking there. Taco was having beer. She was opening beer with her mouth. He's not he can't not be. He can be around. He can go to bars.
I think that this is the difference. Is the party at the warehouse that you're talking about, we're all art people. Mm-hmm. And this party is all normal career people,
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like his scene.
Yeah.
This is 9 to 5, and his scene is weirdos.
I mean, and he went to Jess's party. Yeah, whatever. Or Jess's wedding. But yeah, this is the part where I was screaming, no, 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 when I saw it.
Yeah, dude. This is where shit starts to get bad.
Yeah.
Adam's outside, and who does he run into? A just released from the hospital Hannah. He's walking by, and Anna's outside.
As soon as they cut to that shot of her walking outside and it's nighttime, and I saw Adam standing outside, I was like, no. Don't tell me. I was looking around the scenery, wait, is she on the same block? I don't think so. Hopefully.
Me too. I was looking. I was like, is Adam on the street?
I was like, please no.
No. But lo and behold, he is.
It was a horror movie scene. It's a slasher.
Unfortunately, he is on the same street as Hannah.
Yeah.
And she walks up and she's like, Adam? And he's like, oh, fuck. Hi, Hannah.
And she wants to run over and give him a hug, it seems.
Yeah, she's like, are we not huggers at this point? And he's like, no, I don't think we are.
Yeah.
Which I was like, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, Adam. Mm-hmm. And she's like, so what's up? What are you doing here? And he's like, my girlfriend's at an engagement party. Me and my girlfriend are at this engagement party for her friend. And she's like, oh, wow, girlfriend. Like an actual human being that's a girlfriend. He's like, yup. And she's like, I just got out of the hospital for sticking a Q-tip too far into my ear. And he says, and I wrote it down, the exact quote, Jesus fucking Christ, kid, be careful.
Yeah. So perfect. And her reaction to him saying that and using the word kid is the first time she's called it out.
Yeah, she's
and
like,
how comforting it was to her to hear
it's
that.
It's really nice to hear you call me that. And he's like, whatever.
I always loved that choice. I don't know if like it was. I mean, I know it's a part of him now. I wonder if it was like written that way. Yeah. You know, that he will call a kid, or if it was something he started doing. But either way, that is such a good choice that he.
Yeah, if it was just like a condescending improv, Adam Driver's like, this is what this guy would do.
Yeah. But it was probably written though. Like he's.
Yeah.
For this being one of his first acting things at first, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's great. It's a great choice.
They have an awkward kind of moment where they're just like, okay, cool, good to see you. Adam is like, I'm going to go back inside now. And she's like, okay, well, it's nice to see you. Hope everything's good. I'm going to go right back to writing my book. And he's like, cool, go do that. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Then they separate.
I was like, all right, this is...
I was like, okay. When I saw that, I was like, he handled that well. She knows her place in his life. Mm-hmm. And then he goes inside. And he goes up to the bar and he goes, give me a Jack and Ginger. And I went, fuck.
Oh, come on. I mean, that's all it took, seeing her on the street with the bloody Q-tip. And you're like, oh, I guess. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Like.
Yeah, dude. This was like so sad to me.
That should not drive you to drink.
I mean, a lot of people it probably does.
Probably does, yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I can't say what will drive people to drink or do anything self-damaging, but
it was so sad for me when I was watching. I was like, this is so sad. This sucks. Because Adam was trying to get his shit together.
And I still don't know the extent of his alcoholism, you know? Is it something that he just does to like to calm it down before it gets out of hand? Or if he really does have, like, if he starts, he can't stop. Because it doesn't seem like he has that.
Yeah, it seemed like he didn't really he was just, like, kind of getting drunk and having a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what he says to Natalia, because Natalia's like, are you sure that you want to have a drink? He's like, yeah, I just want to be able to loosen up and, like, have a good time with you.
He's saying, I want to be normal, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so weird that she has a mom at AA, and she's like, all right, cool.
Right?
Like,
she's just down with it?
No, you'd be like, you know what? Let's just get out of here. Like, Natalia, like, don't feed into that right there. Like,
yeah, that was a bad job on her part.
Yeah, I mean, and she couldn't stop him if he wanted to go all in, but she can walk away from that situation or like not be like, all right, let's just get hammered together.
You know, like she should have known because her mom met him at AA.
At AA, yeah, that's So it's not like she didn't know.
Yeah, she should have been like, hey, this is weird. Maybe you shouldn't. Hey, let's take a step outside. Hey, you can go home. Hey, we can go home. Yeah. There's so many other options.
Yeah.
Aside from like.
And I'm not putting like 100% of the blame on her. I just thought she should do some little pushback. It was no pushback at all.
Yeah, because when he's like, I want a Jack and Ginger, she looks at the bartender. She's like, make it too.
Yeah, and she doesn't go like, that. She doesn't.
Well, you know what I mean.
It's not a Bacardi commercial. But yeah, she's just like, all right, make it two.
She just acquiesces.
Yeah, it's just like no pushback for someone that you met through your mom at AA. That's all I thought. Yeah.
I'm no addiction specialist. I don't know anything about this, but I feel like what we're saying is like if you see somebody that has struggled with that and you know that, and they're like, hey, I'm about to go have a drink, maybe you should be like, are you sure you wanted to be doing that? Like,
Yeah.
maybe we could like go somewhere else, or like if you see that person's struggling with that.
Yeah. But well, you don't want someone to relapse. It's a little different than like, someone like gets a little rowdy when they drink. And there's plenty of people that kind of have drinking problems that aren't in AA.
Yeah.
Like at that point. But if you know that like people in AA, like they keep track how many days they're sober, like,
yeah,
it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to have this one drink tonight. And what's tonight to have that drink for her? Like if he's out once at your friend's engagement party.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a big.
Yeah, and Natalia doesn't know that he saw Hannah on the sidewalk. It seems like.
No. Yeah.
So Adam starts drinking, and then he starts to drink a lot, and it seems like without knowing his history of being in AA and like all the pain that he had about it, and like without seeing that AA meeting that he was in, I would think like he's just having a good time. Like it looked like he wasn't having like a depressing problem kind of thing.
No, he was. Yeah, it was just like a dance montage, a dancing and partying montage, and it looked fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So then they go back to his apartment, and Natalia is like, wow, this is fucking depressing.
Horror movie vibes for real. Like, she's walking around there like, what is this?
Yeah, she's like, what is all of this stuff? What are you building? You need to organize this. This is dark.
Oh, I was terrified because she says, where are you going? And he's like, maybe down the Hudson or something like that. And I think it's because he might have mentioned like that he's building that boat somehow.
Yeah, that trash boat thing that he was talking about.
Is he building it in his apartment? I have no idea. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but when she said, where are you going? I thought he was about to leave her and go over to Hannah's.
Oh, no.
Because like the way we were seeing stuff, it didn't look like. I was like, oh no, don't tell me.
Yeah. Now I have a helicopter going by my fucking apartment. Man, all these vehicles, dude. God damn.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, but the thing that I picked up on here is when Natalia says, this apartment isn't you. This is like too dark, and that's not like you. And I was like, oh, you're about to find out. It's a lot like him.
Yeah, that apartment is the real Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they start kind of kissing, and then he just gets into his fucking Adam bag, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He releases his Adam, and he goes, get on all fours, which is the title of this episode.
Yeah.
What is it? I think it's on all fours.
Something
I believe.
Fours.
Yeah. It's on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, get on all fours. And Natalia kind of looks at him like, what? And he goes, get on all fours. And so she does.
I was like, terrifying. I wish you didn't do it. I just wish you didn't do it.
When she got on all fours, for a moment, I was like, maybe she's like secretly into this too.
Yeah, she said everything else was on limit. Like, nothing was off limits in the...
Right? So she gets on all fours and gives him a look back of like kind of sexiness. And I was like, oh shit, this is Adam's dream girl, dude. Like, this is awesome. Yeah. And he goes, get on all fours and crawl to my bedroom. Yeah. He goes, crawl to my bedroom. And then she starts crawling, and she's being like, this is so gross. Like, your apartment's nasty. Yeah. And I was like, this is right up Adam's alley. Like, he loves being insulted like that.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah.
And then so she gets to his bedroom, and she's like, so what is this leading to? And he just grabs her forcefully and throws her on the bed, and she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, I'm gonna fuck you from behind. And she's like, okay. And then he pulls down her underwear, pulls up her skirt, starts eating her butt. And she's kind of like, hey, maybe don't do that. I didn't have a shower today. And he's like, it's fine. And he keeps going. And then he starts banging her doggy style. And it's rough. And she's kind of looking a little concerned. And then he flips her over. And she's like, hey, no, not on my chest.
Yeah.
And then he's like, fuck it. And then he just like jizzes on her chest. Which,
I didn't know where. I didn't know.
Where did she want him to go?
I thought that same thing. I was thinking about the first time they did it. I was like, when she said, oh, I don't want you to do it inside. Don't finish inside me. Where
Where does it normally go?
Where did he finish before? Did he just like do it on the sheets? Did he?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That was never.
I mean, I don't want to sound like a misogynist or something, but like, where did it go the previous times they've had sex? And like, is it that? Because if he jizzes, okay, we're going to talk about the intricacies of jizz right now. If he pulls out and he's like, I'm going to jizz on your stomach, sometimes it can fucking shoot up to even your face if it's like crazy enough.
Oh, was she saying stomach, not chest? Is that what she was aiming for?
No. I'm saying like if
I'm
they
just saying,
usually,
like, yeah, I just don't know.
Usually is like going on her stomach.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know like what that's what I mean. I don't know what the usual is.
Yeah, me neither. So sometimes like it can just shoot up, man. I don't know.
It's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, it does. Like, was he just like jizzing on the sheets or something?
I mean, she could take it and like finish him with a blowjob. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But like that was never established. That's not normal.
Yeah.
Like the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, the preferred placement is chest.
You mean from your standard or for their standard?
From my experience.
No. I'm saying, but your experience.
From my experience,
are you saying that the girl
me
says
having
that?
Sex with women,
not what you do, but what they want? I'm asking.
What they want, what they are like. You can go here, or whatever.
Yeah, not like where you, not your preferred placement, but their preferred placement.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were doing it on the butt, jizzing on the butt.
Well, it looked like
or back.
No, it looked like it was missionary the last time.
That's true. Doing it. I mean, they can change positions. We didn't see the whole sex.
I don't know. Yeah.
We don't know. But she takes it to the chest, and she is not happy about it.
Yeah.
And she lets Adam know. She goes, "Hey, I did not enjoy that at all." And Adam's like,
did she say that before or after he takes off his shirt and mushes it on her chest to clean it up?
I forgot. I think that was after. I think it was after he did that.
And aggressive, and he just takes his shirt off and uses it as a towel and just is like rubbing it
to wipe off the jizz.
Oh man,
I feel gross talking. I don't really like talk about this kind of stuff like this.
No, like I would never even want this to be part of a podcast, but it's part of the show.
Yeah. I just want everybody to know, like, this isn't like Vance and I's topic of conversation when we're not recording this podcast.
Not at all.
Yeah. But, yeah. So then she's like, I did not enjoy that at all. Yeah. And then Adam is kind of like, fuck, I'm sorry. I just, I don't know what came over me. And I was like, I know exactly what came over you, bro.
Adam.
You became yourself again.
Yeah. And you know what? You brought up something, and I thought, you know what? I would have loved this if she was his like perfect dream girl.
Me too.
Yeah.
When she was on all fours and she gave him that look back, I was like, oh, this is about to pop off.
If she would have flipped the switch on him and became more dominant than him, it would have been an amazing little turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Adam, remember that episode where he was jerking off and then Hannah started being like, you're pathetic and your dick's not even that big, and he was like, fuck yeah.
And she gets the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be something kind of like that, but no.
Yeah, I would have loved it. I would have loved it if it got turned. I would have loved anything other than this.
Yeah, it just sucked. It felt rapey, and I didn't like watching that.
No, yeah. And she doesn't respond, does she? Like when he goes, "Oh, you're done with me."
Yeah, I don't know if she does respond, but he's kind of like, "This is it. You don't like me anymore."
Yeah, she looks shell shocked. Yeah. Well, I don't think she'll let her mom set her up with any more people from AA with old criminal faces.
Yeah. That basically wraps up Adam's story.
Oh, yeah.
What a roller coaster. And then the episode finishes with just a little side note of Hannah going, she's got her saved Q-tip and she starts digging into her other ear about it. And I was like, dude, fuck this show.
She's sitting on the edge of the tub, right? And she like does her like 8 twitch look back. Her
8 twitches on both sides of the neck.
Yeah.
And then she starts digging in her ear with the Q-tip. And that's it.
I'm like, I don't know what we're watching. I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of this.
Yeah, final thoughts on this. We're trying to, everybody listen, we're trying to keep these episodes of our podcast a little shorter, but there's just so much to talk about.
Well, I mean, and then you have Amy Schumer.
Yeah, we got
tangents.
Tangents about jizz, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on this?
I don't know what to expect from the finale. I thought we would have a little more Natalia. Honestly.
Yeah. Do you think that they're gonna be together on the next episode?
I don't want her to stay with him because I don't want her to be a Charlie.
Yeah.
I don't want her to be a Charlie.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll try to work on it with him. And then I don't know. I think, you know what? Honestly, I think she's done. I think him saying, I think that silence speaks volumes when he's like, "You're done with me, aren't you?"
Well, maybe this is where Jessa shows up.
Who knows?
It's the last episode. Jessa's got to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know what she brings to the table, but
I have to say I did not enjoy this episode. It was cringy. Like I you know what? It was a good episode in terms of a lot of things happening and drama. But the decisions that these people are making just piss me off, and it fucking sucks.
Adam's rapey vibe, Charlie's spinelessness, the cringy Marnie song,
Marnie's
the confusion of Shoshanna holding the doorman's hand.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see how that plays out. Hopefully, that doorman just shows up somewhere.
You know what? Knowing this show, he will.
Yeah.
There's only like 15 people in New York City.
What if he shows up and he's dating Jessa?
That'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
What if they twist?
You know what? I'd take a scene with Hannah and one of the other girls. Last 2 episodes, she hasn't been with the girls at all. It's just been her and her parents and her OCD.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm loving the OCD trauma. It seems like it's coming out of nowhere for the show, and they're not. I don't know if it's being used as shock value. It felt like shock value in this episode. It felt like body horror, shock value stuff, as opposed to like her OCD affecting herself and things around her. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's like kind of a crutch, where it's like now she has like some shit to actually really worry about?
Maybe, but I don't know if they even need that. You don't need that for this show.
Yeah, there's so much of it that's already like, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, stay tuned for next episode. It's the season finale of season 2, episode 20, season 2, episode 10, titled "Together."
All right, we're gonna get all 4 girls in the same room.
Hopefully,
that's all I can gamble.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh man, if this is anything like the season 1 finale, it'll be almost the same. Jessa disappears, she comes back, she has a wedding.
Oh yeah, Jessa's getting married to Bobby Moynihan now.
They just keep doing every season ending until Jessa wedding, just for no reason.
Yeah, and everybody's invited for some reason. All right,
oh, man.
that wraps it up,
guys. I'm sorry this wasn't a funnier episode. It's a weird episode. It's a weird episode. It's
just like, there's so much annoying shit. It's annoying as fuck. It's annoying, Vance.
I'm trying to think. Is it interesting?
It's not even like train wreck. Watch like, oh, this is crazy. Like, let's watch
train
wreck.
The Amy Schumer movie.
Nice callback. That was pretty good.
All right. I just wanted to have something to end this one.
Yeah. But all like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't even interesting to watch like a train wreck is. Like, this is just like, I don't want to watch it. But we've got 3 seasons left.
No, we got 4. It's 6 seasons.
Yeah, there's 60 episodes. We got 40 episodes
We got 40 episodes left. 41, because we still got to finish the next one.
Yeah. This is a chore.
And we're gonna do it, guys. We're doing it. We're doing it for whoever's listening to this podcast.
You know, as this series deteriorates, so is this podcast. We're gonna just be like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That does it. Thanks for listening. Come in next time, and we'll probably be just as grumpy. See ya.